God's Word Express.
Imagine you're building this thriving, rapidly growing organization. You're bringing in tons of new people, but then you quickly realize something kind of terrifying.
Yeah, the faster you add them, the faster they drop
Oh,
out.
right. They just become completely isolated. And welcome to this custom deep dive, by the way. Today, our mission is unpacking Pastor Dr. Kevin's teaching, Explosive Growth in Ministry. Episode 2, The Structure of the Church, from New Wine International Church.
It really breaks the standard logic of growth. I mean, we usually assume that if you just add people to a welcoming environment, they will naturally integrate.
But a crowd doesn't automatically become a community. We really want to figure out how you scale a community, whether that's a church, a business, or a social club, without losing that close-knit soul.
Exactly. And Dr. Kevin starts with this really grounded biological metaphor from 1 Corinthians 12. He basically views the organization as a living body.
Right, meaning every new member is a new body part.
Yeah, and this is where the integration problem becomes super visible, because new body parts don't just magically sync up with the rest of the nervous system.
No, they don't. He actually shares a story about breaking his leg in the 8th grade. The leg was immobilized in a cast for weeks, and the muscle literally withered.
Oh, wow. Literally withered.
Yeah, completely. So when the cast came off, he couldn't just stand up and walk. He had to deliberately train that withered leg to work with the healthy one again through intentional activity.
Wow. I mean, you see this in workplaces all the time, right?
Yeah.
A new hire gets dropped into a busy team with zero structured onboarding.
Oh, absolutely. And within a month, they are totally isolated.
It's basically like an organ transplant. Like if a surgeon drops a new kidney into a patient but doesn't carefully connect the veins.
The main body naturally rejects the new part.
Exactly. Or the kidney simply withers from lack of circulation.
Mhm.
So to prevent that organizational withering, Dr. Kevin says, love and good intentions just aren't enough.
Right, you need deliberate architectural structure. And he breaks this down into 3 distinct levels.
Okay, so what is the first level?
First, you have the macro level.
So like a large Sunday service, or I guess in a corporate setting, an all-hands company meeting.
Yeah, it's celebratory, highly formal, and takes a ton of prep. It's fantastic for boosting general morale and casting a wide vision.
But you aren't going to make a deep personal connection sitting in a crowd of hundreds.
Exactly. Because of that limitation, the structure requires a second layer, the micro level.
The tiny small groups.
Right, you move from the big auditorium to a living room with maybe 5 people. That's the only environment where actual vulnerability and personalized teaching can happen.
Okay, but wait. If my only experiences are sitting in a massive crowd on Sunday and then a tiny closed circle of the same 5 people on Tuesday.
Doesn't that just create isolated cliques?
Yeah. Aren't you basically just building silos at that point?
That is the exact structural vulnerability that ruins so many growing communities. You end up with silos.
So how do you actually, solve that without losing people?
With the crucial third tier, the middle level. This acts as the connective tissue.
What does the middle level look like?
It's shared task-based groups, so ministries, clubs, the choir, the media team, or even the dancers.
Ah, I see. So instead of just talking in a living room, you are actively doing something together.
Yes, it cross-pollinates those tiny micro-cliques. Dr. Caven actually shares an anecdote about people from completely different small groups.
Oh, right, the van ride.
Yeah. They ended up bonding deeply simply because they were stuck together on an 8-hour van ride for a ministry trip.
That makes total sense. Shared tasks and shared spaces force organic interaction. But man, you have a massive crowd, dozens of tiny, intimate groups, and all these task-based clubs in the middle.
Managing that sounds like a complete logistical nightmare.
Right. How does a leader actually survive overseeing all 3 levels?
By doing the exact opposite of what most managers do. You have to actively release control. Dr. Kevin warns strongly against micromanagement, pointing out something he calls a rejection spirit among leaders.
Wait, a rejection spirit? What does that mean?
It's his term for the demand for absolute perfection. When leaders demand flawless execution, they inherently reject the efforts of people who are still learning.
Oh, wow. So demanding perfection is actually a subtle way of rejecting the imperfect people trying to help.
Exactly. And when leaders do that, they end up doing everything themselves. Growth completely stalls.
So instead of forcing a rigid corporate strategy from the top down, his approach is to observe the natural talents already in the room. Like he notices someone is a good cook or a voice actor.
Or a great dancer. And then he simply builds a group around that specific talent.
Puts it on the official calendar to legitimize it, and then steps entirely back.
Right. You don't manufacture the engagement. You facilitate it, provide the structural joints, and then let the members take genuine ownership.
Look at your own business, your team, or your social circles. Are you just adding people and hoping they don't wither? You need the macro for the vision, the micro for the intimacy, and the middle to connect it all together.
It leaves you with something to really reconsider about expansion. What if the biggest barrier to your organization's growth isn't a lack of new people, but a lack of safe, structured spaces for them to be imperfect together?
Kaya ang kalma kan- ka- 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 ka-
Lil Gab.
ka-